Hello, hello. Welcome to METANOIA, 3 strategies for attaining golden flow. So wonderful to have everyone joining me today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking this time in this incredible moment in history. I am Helena Grant. I am the host and producer of the Golden Threads event that many of you participated in last week. I am a 200-hour yoga teacher. I'm also a certified transformational life coach. And what an absolute honor and delight, as always, to be here today to conduct this webinar, to be welcoming you. Oh my goodness, what just an extraordinary feeling for me. And I hope for you too, because you are here today participating in this experience, maybe listening to the replay a little bit down the line. And you are here because you know on a very, 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 very deep and profound level that there is a better way to live. There is a better way to experience what it means to be a human, and that in pursuing that truth and that knowledge, in cultivating your own version of happiness, joy, bliss, of goodness, of wholeness, the more good that you do for yourself, the more gold you know you will deliver to the world. And that is what we were focused on, not just through Golden Threads, but today in this webinar and in general in my work in the world. So I just feel so much exhilaration and excitement right now to really dive into that. And whether or not you are part of the Golden Threads global event, it's just really this incredible moment. I have to say it again, that I get to have this opportunity to share with you, and especially in the context of the moment that we are all experiencing. And I have to say that as I was moving forward with not just Golden Threads, but also this webinar, I had some sort of egoic resistance, like, is this really a good idea? Is this really a good time? And guidance really just kept saying, do it now. This is happening, this is needed. And so before I came on video, I just asked that whatever I say, may it be exactly what you need to hear at exactly the right time. So as we move forward in the webinar, I invite and encourage you to take some time to yourself. Take some time to silence your phone. My phone is on airplane mode. Turn off your notifications and really just settle into the space. I promise the world can wait, and it will be there ready for you to re-engage once we finish this webinar. And especially the note taking. Even if you don't do any of those other things, please take notes. Handwriting notes is so helpful. It's an incredible way for your brain to process what you're hearing, so that you're not just understanding something on an intellectual level, but you're really making it a part of yourself. So again, I am Helena Grant. When I host these events, I often forget to introduce myself, because as I'm putting them together for you. So even though we might not know each other directly, I feel like I already know you. And in that, I also feel like you know me. So Helena Grant, I take a multidimensional, multifaceted approach to helping people build beautiful lives from the inside out. I take a lot of modalities into my practice, from obviously yoga to Akasha to Reiki to dream oracle work. And I really focus on practical application of spiritual matters. So I am the synthesis between the material and the metaphysical, because that's what we are as humans. We are this synthesis, this bridge between this beautiful, loving spirit world and this down, dirty, grr, human existence. So I really love helping people find wholeness as they are as humans. And so one of my favorite parts of these webinars is please tell me where you are in the world. Just pop it into the chat where you are. It's just such an amazing way for me to connect with you where you are geographically, and also for all of us to see. Hello, Bonnie in Northern Virginia. Welcome, welcome. Courtney, hello, Asheville, North Carolina. I cannot wait to visit Asheville someday. Minneapolis has Angela joining us, and Tom, hello. Oh, Medea in Colombia. Hola. Jan from Ohio. Modo from Oregon. Devera, hello from Georgia. Oh, Valerie from Ireland. Where are you in Ireland? I rode across the Connemara Trail when I was 7 years old. I love Ireland. Tony from Australia, hello. Kara from Los Angeles. Roxanne, hello, welcome. Oxnard, California. Cecily from UK, home of cider and cheddar cheese. Wonderful. Denise from Tinley Park, Illinois. Hello from Seattle. Velda, welcome. Hélène, oh, bonjour, bienvenue, Hélène. Velvet from Winnipeg. Hello, Mindy from North Carolina as well. Yes, I will visit Asheville. I will definitely. Roxanne, yes, hello. I love your emojis. Thank you. In Cork, so beautiful. Donna in Columbus, hello. Lee says hello to everyone from Hamburg, but originally from South Korea. Wonderful. I love having that context. And then Brindis from Norway, hello. And hi, Carol. Carol is in Connecticut, as am I. We are in sort of northwestern Connecticut. And it is an absolutely beautiful day here. It's sort of that warm, welcoming, it's almost like spring, but it's fall. And I took a wonderful walk this morning, and I just got like arrested in the woods by this oak tree that still had its leaves intact, but they were all dry and crisp, and it was just the sweetest smell. Oh my goodness, it was just such a beautiful perfume. So hello, Lindsay from the UK, Northumberland. Welcome. So wherever you are in the world, whatever weather you are experiencing, I hope that it is just a beautiful day, and that hopefully this Metanoia webinar can contribute to that beauty even more. So I just wanted to go over the agenda for our time together today. I know sometimes that makes people feel more comfortable to know where we're going, how much time is involved, and just give you a sense of the structure of how I will conduct our session, kind of what we'll be covering, and the timing involved. Time is very important, and I want to honor that in everyone's lives. So we did our welcome. I'll be going over the backstory of Metanoia. We'll do some check-ins here and there, so get ready. I know you're all engaged in the chat. That's amazing. It's such a great way to create that fluidity. And then after those check-ins, I'm going to dive right into those 3 strategies, because I know that's what you are looking for, and that is what I'm so excited to deliver. And then after the presentation of those 3 strategies for attaining golden flow, I will be talking about my group coaching program, Courageous. So hopefully you will stick around for that. And after that, we will have some Q&A. So the main portion of the webinar will take about an hour, and the Q&A will be additional. So if you feel like you want to jump off after the hour, go for it. But when you stay on for the full hour, I have some really exciting gifts for the live attendees. So I do hope that you will remain. And yeah, so, oh my gosh, Eileen from Orange, New Jersey. Welcome, Eileen and Tony. It is 4 a.m. in this part of Australia, in what will become another brilliant day, brilliant spring day. Tony, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being awake at 4 a.m. I actually love being awake at 4 a.m. It's what I aim for regularly. It doesn't always happen because I do have a 6-year-old. But that is Amrit Vela. That is the most amazing time to be awake as the world is coming back into consciousness. So thank you so much for sharing that, such a special time with us here in the Metanoia webinar. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick sip of water so that I can dive right in and talk about the first time I heard the word metanoia. And the experience was similar to the first time I heard the word synchronicity. And I heard both those words around the same time. It was the fall of 2018, and I started to really commit to my journey of self-discovery and personal development. And what really launched that journey on a more conscious level was in the spring of 2018, I came to this realization that everything that was holding me back in my life and in being happy, abundant, successful came down to one thing. And I said, I just want to learn to love myself, all of myself, even the parts of myself that I hate. And that led me to discover a teacher who brought together these concepts of synchronicity and metanoia. And when I hear words that ring true for me, I have an experience in my body that, as I've described quite frequently, but I will continue to do so, it's almost like a xylophone getting struck by the beater. It's a beautiful sensation that I know feels very divine to me. And when I heard the word metanoia, that happened to me. So I was hearing it in the presentation of a lesson for a concept of emotional alchemy, which we will get into later. And that night, I had a dream. And this was me also coming back to myself, who I am, my multidimensionality, and also my abilities in the dream realm. So in this dream that was so vivid, I was like going around to all these people and I was just saying, metanoia, metanoia, this is the key. This is what everyone's looking for. It's metanoia. And I was so ecstatic in this dream to like be delivering this amazing, delightful, good news to everyone. And guess what? In the dream, they were all like, what? I mean, they couldn't even hear it. But I woke up from the dream and I'm like, I don't care that no one in the dream could understand what I was saying. This is it. This is the key that I've been looking for. And so now I need to understand this on a conscious level and actually really apply it to my conscious life, because that's what dreams give us. They give us these keys, these clues, these symbols that might unlock vast worlds for us in our conscious lives. So that is what happened for me with this word metanoia. And what metanoia means, it's actually a Greek word that is used in the Bible. It's a word that Jesus used when someone asked him, hey, Jesus, how did you get to be so amazing? You multiply loaves and fishes, you walk on water, you raise the dead, you heal the sick, you have this extraordinary level of compassion. What's your secret? And his response was metanoia. Undergo metanoia. And so, of course, the Bible is a very, very old text and written in Greek. Sometimes with these ancient languages, we do not have a direct translation for specific words. And so while metanoia means reverse the flow, well, people want something more direct than that, because what does that mean, reverse the flow? And so when the Bible was interpreted into other languages, guess what word they used? Repent. Repent. that is the word that people, when they were doing these translations, just really gripped onto. And it was sort of like, well, we can really use this to our advantage. If we make everyone think that they need to feel totally horrible, completely guilty and shameful about who they are and what they do, they will really buy into what we're selling. But of course, that's not what Jesus meant. He said, undergo metanoia, reverse the flow of your being, and really change the way that you interact with yourself and with the world. And so that was his response to like how he reached this level of ascendancy. And so flow, that seems like it's really the key word in all of this. So I want to know, pop into the chat, and I'll be kind of riffing on this as we go along, but what does flow mean to you? What are some terms that come to mind? They could be synonyms. They could be like a collection of words, but what does flow mean to you? It's a very desirable state. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's so many things. Oh, velvet, yes, ease. Oh, and Tony asks, is that a dream catcher on the wall? Yes, it does work. It catches my dreams. Flow, Devira says, flow, inspired in spirit. Yes, my daughter asked me the other day what does inspired means, and I said, it's full of spirit. Movement, yes, flow, easy, organic, says Courtney. Mindy says, things are running smoothly. Ooh, yes, that smoothness. Stream is a word that comes to mind for me. Not resistant, Dana. Yes, not resistant. Surrender, yay, Cecily. Surrender is one of my favorite words. Trust, in the zone, and riding the wave. Oh my goodness, these are such amazing definitions and associations for flow. Expand, Brindis, beautiful, thank you. Trust, ease, and divine, says Eileen. Yes, definitely. Also continuity, that things really come together when flow is involved. Course, things, you think of like a river, which is another word for flow. Things coming together, like the water is sort of contained, but able to move in a really powerful way. Hélène, vibrations and energy. Yes, absolument. Ina says to wash out the past and create new future that you want to live by. Ooh, wow. You are striking that xylophone. I love it. Another word is current, same sort of thing, the course and the current of the river. Electricity, you think of like flow, the way that electricity gets conducted through wires. Another word I love is flux. Flux, I feel like, is so important because to me, it relates to change. And that is such a huge part of flow, that things will change. I mean, that is the only constant in life. The only absolute certainty is that things will change. And so flux and has that resonance with flow. Ooh, Angela says unbound. Oh yeah, unbound. And endless flow. I think of a flow, I think of a cycle that is just always kind of going through the motions, the movement, and always, there are no destinations. It's just really this journey that's going on. Of course, there are events, there are rapids, there are currents, there are waterfalls. There are, sort of lulling eddies here and there, but it's always this sort of endless cycle, this amaranthine abundance. Abundance is another big word for flow. I'm interested that didn't actually come up in the chat, but you think of abundance, you give from a place of abundance because you have so much coming into your life. But of course, in giving, we also receive. And ceaseless and plenty. And then another word that I love is float, which I feel like relates to this concept of surrender. Would you've experienced any of my other webinars and presentations? I think surrender for me is just a lifelong theme. And that you can just, you think of like floating. Oh, can I really just float through life? I mean, yes, you have to actively participate, but sometimes you really can just be in the inner tube and like float down the river. Valerie, I love that. Constrictionless, but at the same time, for flow to really work, I think there needs to be structure in place. Like if a river didn't have any banks, it wouldn't get anywhere. It would just sort of like overflow all the time. And I think also flow, really what it means to me is that you live from a place of such profound joy and bliss that no matter what, you are just fully present and grounded and even. Even is another big theme for me in my teaching in personal development and also in yoga, which of course they're the same thing. And also flow, not force. Like you can't force the flow. You can just kind of get into it. You can set yourself up for it to experience it. But the minute you try and force it, just disappears. It can be very elusive, but I think because of the nature of its elusivity, it's actually even more accessible. It's just how you're positioning yourself to interact with it. Oh, Lindsay, being connected to all that is. Oh, yes, absolutely. And that's what we have learned so profoundly this year, especially, is that we are all so interconnected, and we all just sort of flow into each other and with ourselves. I love that. Thank you. So I want to do a quick check-in. I imagine I will get so many yeses, so bring on the flow of yeses, but I just want to make sure that everyone has some sort of foundational knowledge and some sort of premise about subtle energy, specifically the chakras. So if you just want to say, yes, I know about the chakras, just say yes, 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 excellent. Yes, very good. Just a little bit. Okay, Bonnie, I will kind of go over it. Just a really brief overview. Yes, Rebecca, Valerie, wonderful. Oh, good. Yes, love all these yeses. Wonderful. I got what you meant, Kara. Tess means yes sometimes, right? Okay, so amazing that we have this sort of premise for the chakras. So super fast, you have 7 energy centers in your being. Tony says, on a technicality, for there to be flow, there must be a point of higher pressure to make the flow to lower pressure. Tony, I love that. Thank you. Okay, so the chakra system, you have 7 energy center points in your physical being. You actually have so many more than that, but we're going to focus on these 7 because, again, they're very accessible and it's sort of a digestible amount of information. So your first chakra is down at the sort of animal area of your body. So your root system. And your second chakra is your sacral area. So that's sort of creativity, sexuality. And then we move up to the solar plexus, which is just below the sternum. And that's kind of where shame tends to like to hang out. And then we have the heart, which is number 4 at the center of the being. And of course, we'll be focusing on that chakra. And then we move into the upper chakras. We have the throat, which is where we have our expression. We have our third eye, which is where we can just see in all directions. And then the crown, which is our connection to the ether and the divine. And so now what tends to happen in our human experience, and this is partly due to societal conditioning, this is partly due to how we're raised, and it's just sort of generally like our modern human experience, that even in the awareness of these chakras, we sort of divide our beings into 3 parts. So we look at sort of the bottom 3 chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, and we look at those as like sort of undesirable because, again, they relate to our animal nature, that really like base instinct that's within us. And then, you know, we have the heart and like, oh, isn't this so nice? It's so soft and loving and beautiful. And then we take into account these upper chakras. And those seem very appealing because that's the connection to the spirit world and to our spirit and to our soul. And so we kind of like want to exist up here. And these upper chakras tend to flow upward. And the lower chakras, because they don't have, you know, the same appeal as the upper chakras, we tend to deny and repress them and push them down and away, like towards the earth. So that creates this like really profound division in our beings. The upper chakras going up, the lower chakras going down. And then what is the heart doing? The heart is just like, hello, I'm the most powerful machine in the universe. Can you please use me? Can you please use me? So that's what we're doing with metanoia. We're reversing those two flows so that instead of down, away, and out, and up, and up, and out, we bring them both into the heart. And this also relates to uniting our will and what we really want in the world and how we get it. Like what we want, why we want it, how we're going to get it. And that's where the practical aspect of my life coaching comes into play. And I've got a lot of sun pouring in right now, so my lighting might get a little wonky, but we're going to just keep going with it. And so the heart is at the center of the being. It's at the core of your being. And Hélène, I know that you'll respond to this. It's le cœur. Le cœur is the heart, the core, the center. So with that, I think maybe just like soak that in for a minute, sort of this concept that we might not even really be aware of the fact that this so much energy is going up, so much energy is going down, and that we can create this really new sort of structure, this this guidance system, this place for our concept of flow, of joy, of bliss, of constrictionless, of being unbounded, just giving it the container that it really desires to be really profoundly powerful and forceful in a beautiful, loving, and beneficial way. So how do we get there? You know, we've got this like concept and what it, you know, it seems like intellectually, like we can understand this approach and this vision, this, you know, illustration that I have relayed, but how do we get there? What do we do? You know, we're all about the how. Give me the how. Well, here we go. 3 strategies. Number 1, come home. Number 2, make space. And number 3, alchemize. Okay, that's it. Everyone can go now. I'm just kidding. I'm going to unpack those. So number 1, come home. I had a wonderful experience in last spring. Actually, I have a lot of liminal experiences as I'm coming back into conscious awareness from the dreamscape. And I just received this message that said, come home to yourself. Come home to yourself. And that is something that is so easy to move away from. And it happens again for so many reasons. We're not necessarily given the tools to understand who we are, how we want to show up in the world, what our purpose is, and to really live from our hearts, because that doesn't necessarily fit in with how our society is structured. And that's not to say that we don't have amazing aspects of our modern society. I mean, it's pretty cool in a lot of ways. But it has contributed especially to this denial of the animal self in those lower chakras, that like, oh, that's like the smelly stuff. We're not going to deal with that. And that then translates to how we cope with our emotions. And in that coping, then how we interact with our experience, what happens to us, where we end up, It's all interconnected and all interrelated. So this concept of come home is really come home to your truth, your purpose, your passion. Come home to your potential and to the temple that is your body. I mean, I look at the body as being this unbelievable representation, again, of those lower chakras. Like, it can be very inconvenient to have a body sometimes. It can be very painful, but it's also absolutely amazing that we get to experience this incarnation, to be incarnate, to be in this carnal body with these carnal needs and these carnal drives. And so I really look at this concept of come home as know yourself. And when you know yourself, oh my goodness, that is when you're really tapping into that unlimited flow of potential and purpose and passion and joy and bliss. Whoa, all of it is right there just in knowing yourself. Of course, knowing yourself is a journey, but it's a beautiful one, a really, really beautiful one. Okay, and so come home is number one. Number two is make space. So at the beginning of every moon cycle, I do a little reflecting on what might be a good theme for that time frame. And so this new moon, we have a new moon coming up on the 15th. So when I did this in October, I kept hearing the term make space. And so you think of this concept of come home, and you almost look at home as a house, and your body is the house for your spirit. So how can you make space in your body for your spirit, for your experience, for your joy and your bliss? Because sometimes we don't feel happy, we don't feel joyful, we don't feel blissful because we haven't created the space to welcome that in. So making space is sort of this movement of energy. And of course, everything is energy. Our thoughts, our emotions are energy. Our shoes are energy. Our clothes are energy. Our food is energy. So especially to me, this concept of making space pertains particularly to your physical environment, because our physical environment is a direct reflection of our internal landscape. So when you make space in your physical environment, which is to me like one of the most accessible ways to make space, then that creates a positioning of you entering into a new state of flow. Because when you look around and it's like, oh, this changed and this is more organized and I can find things here, then that says something to your psyche about what's going on in the external world. And then that is going to be happening also in the internal world. So when you start making space in your physical environment, then you're going to start creating space in your emotional, mental, spiritual, and psychic environments as well. And the physical environment, this could be something as simple as lining up your shoes in your closet, whether you're male or female in your gender. I promise you, this is like the most immediate way to create like a total overhaul in your interaction with that physical space. It's like making your bed. You make your bed and the whole room looks clean. You line up your shoes in your closet and the whole closet looks clean, even if it's some piles here and there and you have to sort of dig through things. The shoes are lined up. It's amazing what happens. And I, of course, come from a background of, I sort of started my life coaching through the lens of personal style. So I love the closet metaphor. And of course, our closet also pertains to our psyche and our deep unconscious mind. So yes, come home to yourself, to your passion, your purpose, your truth. And in this process of coming home, make space. And I recommend starting with the physical world. Number 3 is my favorite, ALCHEMIZE. So where am I going to start with ALCHEMIZE? I'm going to start with a definition of alchemy. So the ancient alchemists sought to transmute lead into gold. And they were so obsessed with making this process work that they just were super committed to turning one substance that, you know, had some benefits and some good uses into something that was like the ultimate desirable metal. And they spent many, many hundreds of years, centuries, trying to accomplish this. And it actually is possible to physically turn lead into gold. We have discovered that it is possible. They were never able to technically do it, but that literal approach to turning lead into gold has a very figurative relationship to what we do with our own emotional alchemy. That you think about some of the emotions that you might have, some of the traumas that you've experienced, some of the sad moments in your life, maybe even grief. And again, in our society, it's like, oh, very undesirable emotions, repress them, get rid of them, shove them down, shove them away, and they'll just disappear, which of course does not happen. They disappear into our unconscious minds, and then they sort of germinate, and maybe they take a different form, but then they come out sideways. And I have a lot of personal experience with what that looks like. And I also have a lot of personal experience in what it looks like to really unearth and excavate what has been repressed into the unconscious mind and into the shadow, and bringing it into the light and taking a look at it and realizing that in all that shit, there is actually gold as well. But it's just about your interaction with it, what kind of love you're giving it, what kind of approval, and what you're doing consciously to transmute what was very painful and probably awful, so that you can actually move forward in life and you can stop repeating patterns over and over again and feel like you have the same things happening to you over and over again in different versions, and thinking that some sort of fate is controlling your life. You are in control of your life. You are in control of your experience. And when you alchemize what, again, might not be super desirable and sort of scary, it sets you free. Absolutely liberates you and creates this incredible opening of your ability. It literally makes space in a new way. It's like discovering, you know, some forgotten jacket that you had shoved in the closet that was just, you thought it was taking up space, and you pull it out and it's like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. This is not necessarily easy, but it can be very fun. So this process of alchemy is also considered sort of the work against nature, because again, that natural flow is up this way, down the other way, and the heart just hangs out. So in this process of metanoia, we're bringing it all together into the heart, which is the golden center of our being. And it really is, you know, I look at it and it's like, okay, we're sort of shown that emotions are dangerous and make us unpredictable, especially as women. And so it's like, don't feel, don't be so emotional. Don't be so reactive, so responsive. Just let it go, right? How many people have heard that? Just let it go. I heard that so many times growing up, and even in my adult life. Just let it go. Just water off a duck's back. Why do you get so upset? Just let it go. Well, I say, don't just let it go. Alchemize it. Because if something is happening to you, some sort of situation or experience, it's happening for a reason, and you might actually, on a very deep level, be willing to experience it, or that you were willing to experience it. And if something keeps coming up, It's because you are being presented with an opportunity to heal yourself around it. Okay, so that's alchemy right there, emotional alchemy. And that is a process that I am trained in specifically. It's called existential kink. It's a form of rapid shadow integration that produces just extraordinary results. So let's go over those three one more time. Number one, come home. Number two, make space. And number three, alchemize. Carol, I see you have your hand raised. If you want to pop a question into the chat, I'm happy to answer that. And I'd love to know, everyone, which one of those like really maybe like struck the xylophone for you. Was it number one, come home, number two, make space, or number three, alchemize? Was there any one of those in particular that really spoke to you on a deep level? Alchemize, Bonnie, yes. Chanel, number three, alchemize. I did. I come home, Brenda, yes. I mean, that is the first step to come home. Valerie, number one and number three. Ina, come home. Yes, everyone, we need to come home to ourselves. We've gotten so far away. But you have to sometimes move away. You have to sometimes move away. Courtney, especially number three of the rapid shadow integration. I'm so glad because we're going to be talking about that. That's the premise of my group coaching program, Courageous, that we'll cover in just a moment. But again, like coming home to yourself, coming home especially to your infinite self. I don't know if anyone attended my encapsulation webinar on the 26th of October. But the infinite self, it just always lives within you. It was always there throughout your childhood. It is there already in your future life. It is there with you right now. And you have access to all of that amazing wisdom, all of that healing, all of that insight, all of that guidance. So that is there's so many benefits to all of this, to coming home, to making space, and to alchemizing. Don't just let it go, alchemize it. Cecily says, alchemize. I'm really looking into shadow at the moment. Also clearing, massively need to declutter my living space. Using this lockdown for some space making. I love that. Yes, we've been presented an incredible opportunity. Let's let go, surrender all of that like gripping and holding on to and like attachment, right? Number three, the most, I'm focused here, Devera, I love that. Number three, by a short half, head over number one. Oh, Velvet, number two, yes, making space. You know, it's like we have to make the space for the happiness, the joy, and the bliss. And maybe there have been things that have come into your life that are just taking up space that, you know, it's like valuable real estate in your being, in your consciousness, in your mind, that you would really like to fill with other things, you know? And again, back to the metaphor of the closet, it's like sometimes you have to get rid of the old, holy, yellowed white t-shirt in order to welcome in a new one and start anew. Kara says, clear out the psychic emotional trash in my life. Yeah, totally. Eileen says, remembering the fairy tale of spinning straw into gold. Ooh, Eileen, I love that. Which fairy tale is that? Can you remind us? I'd love to know. Who spun straw into gold? Was it Rumpelstiltskin? Yes. It is. I have not. I'll have to revisit that one. I don't think I've read that to my daughter. I'll have to see. It's okay. We got it. We absolutely got it. Okay, so everyone, it's time now to move into the next portion of our webinar. And I will be presenting now on Courageous, which is my group coaching program. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment. I want to refer to my notes. I get so excited to share this. This is my signature program for delivering all of these amazing tools that I have amassed myself and just delivering them in a really effective and fun way. So as I said before, like diving into your shadow is sexy and intriguing, not always fun, or not always easy, excuse me, but we have a lot of fun doing it. And when you're having fun, things feel easier. Things feel easier. So this takes a lot of courage to do, which is why I named it Courageous. And again, it just takes a really caring, earnest, and profoundly dedicated approach to your results and your experience. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here and pull up the web page for Courageous, and you're going to see X out of that. So this is a transformative 12-week journey of coming home to your infinite self, that infinite self that is just waiting for you to come back, that is always there, always loving you, always wanting your best interests, just period. And maybe you've fallen out of touch with it. Maybe you didn't even know that it was there, but this is such powerful and profound work. And we take a very, very multi-dimensional, multi-modality approach to attaining this work. So do you want to feel more freedom, flow, and ease in your life? Yes, I think you do. And maybe you've taken like a ton of workshops, maybe you even attended my summit, but you're still feeling like you need to anchor in to your purpose and your passion. And I imagine, I mean, we are all creative. Everyone is creative, whether you're creative in the kitchen with cooking dinner, or you're creative because you like to take, you know, acrylics to canvas, or you're creative because you like to write. I mean, creativity takes so many different forms, but in pursuing our creativity, that's when we really get to uncover our gifts, our truths, and our calling, which is a huge part of purpose. And so this, you know, this journey of Courageous, this 12-week journey is really about connecting you with wholeness. I mean, happiness through wholeness. That is what I help you attain by building that beautiful life, by really getting in touch with your joy, your bliss, your passion, and your creativity, whatever that looks like for you. And maybe you're not even that much in touch with it. Maybe you've moved away from it. But again, we are all creative, all of us. And the whole point is to attain this new level of joy, freedom, inspiration, and abundance. That word for flow, yes. So you might just, you know, you probably are all on this journey and you just kind of feel like there's a missing piece. You have all of this incredible information, all these amazing insights, all of this inspiration around you. We have incredible access to information right now, but you just need a way to like bring it all together and just let go of the barriers that are getting in the way of your true desires and everything that you deserve in your life. And so I love the symbology of the butterfly. And of course, it's a little bit overused sometimes, but it just really has such profound resonance that it's this concept of really surrendering to this transformation from one form to another. You know, you've got the caterpillar munching along, eating the leaves, getting fat, enjoying, and then cocooning itself in the chrysalis and literally turns to goo and then becomes the butterfly. So I feel like it takes a lot of courage to be a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. I mean, that's a lot of trust. And of course, they don't have a conscious mind necessarily. I think they do. I think everything can feel. But that's just a part of nature, that they give themselves over to that process. But of course, then when they come out of the chrysalis, they need the right temperature for their wings to work. You know, they could flap their wings, and if it's not the right temperature, if their wings aren't strong enough, they're not going to fly. So it's almost like their truth is like a missing piece. And the fact is, with our infinite self in place, every truth you need is already there. It's just about accessing it in a new way and finding this really beautiful structured channel through which it can flow. So back to this concept of the river, having the banks in place, maybe some rocks and some boulders, the eddies, the rapids, the very gentle, like meandering turns in the river. But that's your truth in place. And so just tune in to what it would feel like to really bring together your physical and your metaphysical lives. And when I say physical and metaphysical, let's go back to that imagery that I presented of the chakras and the animal self and the spirit self kind of being divided. The animal self is like the physical self, the physical body. And the metaphysical is your connection to spirit, the connection to something greater. So of course, we're all animals, we're all mammals, and we're all connected in that sense. But then we're also like connected on this very profound and, it's an unseen, untouchable way. And yet it is touchable, but in a very unique and unexplainable way. It can't be scientifically proven. So of course, we like to ignore it. And I just still remain so humbled and honored that I can represent these truths myself from a place of being, interacting with life. And I just knew there was something more. I knew there was something bigger. I started receiving messages from guidance in my teen years. I was struck by lightning when I was 16, and that opened me up to my abilities in the dream world. But where I was raised, that wasn't necessarily discussed or understood or even cultivated. So of course my journey took quite a bit longer than it may have. But I don't lament that at all, because I know that all of the shit that I went through shaped me in this really incredible way to now be here and to be able to teach these principles. But I really wasn't always here. And it actually was not that long ago that I was in a place of such deep, such profound misery. It was physical misery. It was metaphysical misery. I was so sick. I had sinus infections once a month. I had migraine headaches. My husband honestly thought that I had cancer because my headaches were so bad. They were so consistent that he's like, there must be something really, really wrong with you. And I said, there is something wrong with me, but it's not something that a Western doctor is going to be able to fix, because I was already on so many medications. And I just knew that another medication was just going to keep causing more problems. So I started really coming home to myself. And really, again, deciding like, I get to choose something different. I get to decide what that is. And it's only up to me. I am the only thing standing in my way of something really big and really beautiful. And so what I'm doing here with Courageous is offering a shortcut. So this process, of course, it's a lifelong journey. But for me, I really started more actively pursuing, particularly shadow integration in 2018. And I dove all the way in, absolutely devouring everything that I could, and especially with a very Jungian approach. Carl Jung is a Swiss psychologist, was a Swiss psychologist, a pioneer in psychoanalysis. So again, I take a very, I take a very scientific, but also a very spiritual approach. And I bring those together. Again, that concept of synthesizing. And so I know a lot of us now, there's been a lot of questioning, like, who am I? What am I doing here? We lost a lot of our external structures, a lot of the things that we relied on to kind of guide us and define us. And that really eats away at our self-esteem. And then we start to look for, external solutions and resolutions to what really is an internal issue. And maybe you're feeling like some overwhelm, some fear, some anxiety. I mean, those are always present, and those might be present for you on an individual level. And then, of course, there's the collective level, which we tune into as empaths. But you know, it might really specifically be showing up as like how you want to show up in the world, not just you and your interaction with yourself, which of course is of primary importance, but then how you want to share yourself in the world. And so I just want to know, like, are you ready to feel free no matter what, no matter where you are or what you're doing? And do you want to not just cope, but truly thrive, like truly, truly live from your heart? Well, here we are. We're looking through Courageous here. And module 1, I'll go through these really quickly. I will put the link in the chat so you can visit the sales page on your own. You're establishing engagement and conversation with the infinite self, which I've touched on here. I touched on encapsulation. This is the foundation, the home of you as a spiritual and physical being, as an animal and spirit. And it lives in the heart. So again, we're engaging with that on a very physical and metaphysical level. Just going to keep repeating that because that is how we do this. And we take a very holistic approach, very practical, very inclusive. So module number 2 is really just about committing to accessing and living in joy. And that takes commitment. It takes commitment and conscious awareness in your process and your journey of really being joyful and blissful. Module number 3, I love particularly developing new relationships with anxiety and fear. And as I was preparing for the webinar today, I heard through guidance that anxiety and fear really tend to come from unprocessed grief. And we do a lot of work around grief in the course. This is something that I focus on a lot with my clients. And there's so much grief always. And it's something, again, that's so easy to repress and deny and be like, oh, just get over it. But I think that there's so much gold in grief. And when you really approach that gold and cultivate it, you can develop this new relationship with anxiety and fear that come up no matter what. I mean, it's a part of our animal nature to have anxiety and fear. But what do you do with it? That's the key. Module number 4 is the emotional alchemy intensive. We really dive into the shadow integration. We've set ourselves up to access our shadow in a new way in the previous 3 modules. So module number 4, we are going all in, really excavating and ensuring that we're going to have incredible results. And I also want to say that as we're going through the modules, I provide specific movement practices that complement the work that we do in the modules. And it made me think, especially in module 4 with emotional alchemy intensive, we do a lot of heart work. We do a lot of hip work because that is where our emotions tend to get stored in that like bowl of the hips. And then module number 5, greeting a new reflection. So you've done this inner work and you get to sort of say, okay, what's the external representation of that? And what is my representation of that progress that I have made? And of course, our reflection is our projection into the world. So I really move you towards a place of really interacting with your reflection on this beautiful, profound, grateful, joyful way. So that's how then you can present yourself and project yourself into the world. And then in module number 6, we ignite the heart. We just turn it on full blast. We put all of these amazing foundational practices in place. We've built your spiritual toolbox in this beautiful way. And we are just ready to turn you on full blast. And when you live from the heart, you have incredible influence. You have incredible influence in the physical world. You have incredible influence in the spiritual world. When you live from that place, you get all the good things, all the good things. So igniting the heart. So the specifics of this 12-week intensive, you get 6 guided meditations that you can just listen to, 6 gentle movement videos that again complement the work that we're doing in each module. And that's what the guided meditations do. They actually introduce you on this very deep level to the work that we'll be doing and give you access to your unconscious mind. And then we bring that into the physical space with the gentle movement, kind of move the energy around in your being. And these, of course, then come with a lot of specific journal prompts and practices as well. We have 7 live group calls. We do a kickoff call, and then we meet every 2 weeks. So we'll do the kickoff call, you'll receive the module, and then we'll meet about 10 days later to discuss your progress and your work. And as a part of this intensive, everybody gets a 60-minute one-to-one coaching session with me. And I will say, I produce incredible results in these coaching sessions. So incredible results in the program, incredible results in the coaching session. This is the best way I know to deliver high value in a very accessible form. So here are some of the testimonials. Gave me the courage to slow down. Linda had a lot of physical ailments that I was able to help her move through as a part of Courageous. Sonia, a safe space to fully unpack emotions. That is it. Safe space. That is what I create. And a container where you can really surrender to what your experience is, what you're feeling. I bring a level of curiosity and enthusiasm to the work. People feel touched by a goddess when they work with me. People feel confident and validated. So the logistics, we begin on the 16th of November. Oh, this didn't get updated. It actually goes until February 8th. I didn't refresh my page. And then by the end of these 2 weeks, my promise to you is you will have a fresh perspective on your life and past traumas, more confidence in who you are and your purpose, your passion. Comfort in showing up in new and dynamic ways, and tools and practices to help you cope with anything, absolutely anything. And I think that is one of the keys of living in a totally joyful and blissful way, is that you're like, bring it on. Whatever you got for me, world, I'm ready, because I'm living from my heart. I am fully grounded, fully present, and prepared. So I am ready. And that comes from having tools and practices in place, that preparation. So this journey is for you if you want to know who you really are, you're ready to explore new channels of expression, willing to shed light on the darkness of past wounds. Imperative. And you desire immediate results and practical tools. This is a 12-month program. That is not a lot of time in the concept of time. So rapid. I'm all about rapid. This journey is not for you if you lack curiosity, you're unwilling to apply a playful attitude to self-discovery, you have no interest in changing, and you want to blend in with the crowd. I'm not interested if you want to blend in with the crowd. That's not what we're doing here. Results, you can have clarity, stop second guessing yourself, feel authentic and purpose-driven, break old habits, joy in the reward of discovering things, and feel at peace and feel wholeness. And now we move into the investment. It is $19.97 full pay. I also offer 10 payments of $249. And I have a fast action bonus. For the first 5 people who sign up for Courageous, whether it's full pay or the payment plan, you will get an additional one-to-one coaching session. So you get one with the program, you'll get another one with me. And these one-to-ones, I don't tend to do them, but when I do them, I charge $500 an hour. So incredible value. I will throw that in for the first 5 people who register for Courageous. So hop on it. Oh, this says 3. I'm doing 5. And so some of the additional bonuses that you will get my course, 21 Days to Desire. And you will also get lifetime access to my summits, my 2 summits, Synthesis of Style and Spirit, which I hosted in May, and the Golden Threads Global event. And then there's a little bit more about me that you can take a look at when you head on over to the page, which I'm going to come back now and type into the chat. Oh, let me pull up the link here. So here is the link for the sales page. Carol, thank you so much. You say I produce great results. It's been so amazing to be a part of producing great results for you. So I want to check in with the chat here. It's all about impossible tasks and asking for help naming demons. Yes, the demons want to be named. They want to be loved. They want to be given a job. And Kara says she saw the interview with Carolyn Elliott. It was fantastic. Carolyn is one of my mentors. She is one of my primary teachers, and I am one of her certified existential kink practitioners. So I'm so glad that you enjoyed that. So if you have any questions, please type them into the chat. I went a few minutes over, so if you need to leave, that is fine. But if you have any questions about Courageous, about the fast action bonus, let me know for sure. And for all the people who have attended live, if your name on the chat does not match with the name that you use to register for Golden Threads, let me know, because I'm going to send all of you a special gift after this webinar. It is a PDF on dreaming and how to access that conversation with your dream self, your higher self. Dana says, beautiful info. Thank you. Thank you, Dana, so much. Yeah, it's, you know, it's beautiful info because it's a beautiful process. It's a beautiful life. And it's really easy to lose touch with that. It's really easy to convince ourselves that we don't deserve to be happy. And it's not always easy to be happy. We're not programmed to be happy. We're programmed to survive, but not necessarily to be happy. Oh, share. Yes, please, Cecily, share the course, share the site. And you're reading Existential Kink at the moment. It's an amazing book, right? And she's on your course, Grace Savannah Thomas. Oh, yes, I do. This is, again, my signature program. So I would love for you to circle back when the timing is right. I will definitely post the link again. Wonderful, Melanie, Mad Melanie, wonderful. I will get you on that link. Good point to address heart by combining spirit and animal aspects of your body. It's so true. I need the post too. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I'll just keep posting it. And if you sign up now, I will remain on this webinar for another 10 minutes. I heard this morning, just show up and open your mouth and keep talking to answer any questions. If you do sign up while we're on this webinar in the next 10 minutes, because you feel a yes, that's what we're looking for, that yes in your body, that yes from the infinite self, not the ego. And the ego is probably going to come in and be like, no, don't make any changes. Why are you doing this? But if you feel a yes and you feel ready to join right now, sign up for Courageous. I will not only give you that fast action bonus of the one-to-one session, I will also include a dream oracle reading. And this is a really cool aspect of my work that I usually reserve for my 6-month coaching clients. But you get to ask a question, or we create a question together, or I just ask a question that we decide on. And I go into the dream space, which you get into alpha state. So that aligns with like psychic information. And I retrieve information for you. in regards to that question. And then we apply that to your coaching session, because I am getting guidance from a very broad and inclusive and interconnected level. And so in the coaching session, we bring that down to the practical brass tacks, because what good is information if you don't know how to apply it? Oh, Devera, why are you not seeing the link? I don't know. You can go to www.hgrantstyle.com/courageous/ so HGRANT.com/COURAGEOUS/ plug it in there. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully that works. Oh, you got it. Okay, good. And so I do want to talk about these dream oracle readings quickly, because the insight that I have delivered my clients absolutely blows both of our minds. They can't believe it. And of course, being able to unpack it, because you think of like interacting with an oracle and they like give you information, but then you don't know what to do with it. And that's why I love that I got this training in life coaching, because it's like, all right, well, here's the information, here's the answer to your question. Again, what are we going to do about it? And that is, I mean, there are so many keys to life and living in wholeness and happiness, but a lot of it is like, what's the practical application, and how are you going to bring together this beautiful metaphysical information into your material world? Eileen says, thank you for being so generous and sharing your gifts with the world. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for being here for me to share them. I mean, it's nothing without the people that are willing to receive the information. And as, again, I was preparing for the webinar today, it always comes back to, I just aim to like help one person. If I can help one person, if I can deliver some sort of information, insight, or inspiration that just touches one person, I will have done my job. I will have answered the call. I will have served my purpose. And of course, the desire is that it's more than just one person, but to hear that from you, Eileen, I feel so grateful. Thank you so much. And I look forward to delivering this PDF to all of you here on this live webinar. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a few more minutes. And I'm actually hearing to just, if you have questions, please post them. Oh, thank you, Devera. This webinar is so valuable and insightful. Thank you for courageously uplifting us. Okay, so if you still have a question, I'm still going to give you a couple minutes. If you want to act now, sign up for Courageous. If you sign up, pop it in the chat. Let us know, because you want the fast action bonus, and because you're live and signing up now, you get the Dream Oracle reading as well. So I'm going to leave us open for just another 5 minutes. And in this space, as we're winding down, I'm hearing to just sort of close my eyes and offer just some final parting words, and maybe even a little blessing for us. And before I do that, I'm gonna take a sip of water. We have to satisfy the animal self sometimes. The animal self has needs. And that's not about, asceticism. It's about really fulfilling desire, so that you can move forward in the world from the heart. That beautiful, beautiful golden place. That place where that Aurelian flow can just really move from. Okay, so again, feel free to pop in any questions and any other insights or news you want to share. But now I'm just going to close my eyes and be here in this space. I invite you to close your eyes as well and just sink into your body. Maybe even using the breath to access that physical space that is always available to you, the breath that can move energy in such an incredible way, and of course the breath that is so accessible and yet something that we forget. We hold our breath. And as you just breathe on your own, maybe taking some deep belly breaths and expanding your rib cage and your lungs, I want you to envision a little golden light that is just blinking repeatedly and with a very gentle tempo. And I invite you to envision this golden light is existing right in the center of your being, right in your chest, the center of your chest. And it just has its own pace, its own tempo, its own rhythm. And I just love for you to notice this golden light. What sort of gold is it? Is it a deep gold? Is it a yellowy gold? Is it an orangey gold? Does it glow like a hot coal? Does it sparkle like something gilded? I'm really inviting in this little blinking golden light and really acknowledging what shape it's taking. Is it round? Is it square? Is it spherical? Does it look like a bubble? Is it triangular? What shape is there in this little golden light? And just noticing the color and the shape and allowing it to proceed at its own rhythm. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it alternating beats maybe? And just feeling gratitude to know that this little golden light is always there for you. And ask this golden light, whatever shape it is, whatever color it is, whatever hue, whatever rhythm it's beating, what can I do for you? Ask it that question. What can I do for you? And just welcoming in what that response is. And whatever that response is, you just hold it. Just imagine yourself like cupping it in your hands and holding it close to you and feeling very grateful that you received that response. And if you didn't hear a response, that's okay. You can come back to this space another time, because this golden light, this blinking golden light, whatever shape, whatever color, whatever hue, whatever rhythm is always there for you, and you can return here. And so either way, just really feeling gratitude and maybe an opening in the rest of your being. You thank this little golden light. Just say thank you. And with that gratitude, just taking a little breath in, filling the lungs, filling the belly, moving the energy around, and breathing out. And opening your eyes when you're ready. It's now 18 past the hour. Tony says, hoping that is diet water. I don't understand. Tony, you're funny. So that is a process of focusing. And so accessing that golden light, I hope will benefit you. And if you received a response from that space and you want to share it, I'd love to hear it. Or if you want to just hold that to yourself and act on it, bring it forth. And Cecily, yes, 1818, totally aligned. Thank you. Thank you so, so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Thank you for your curiosity. Thank you for the joy that you brought to the chat. Thank you for just being here. Thank you for the willingness to come home to yourselves, to making space, and to alchemizing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll put the link in the chat one last time. I will also send the replay with the link. I look forward to welcoming you into Courageous, and also to all of you who are going to act on that fast action bonus. We're going to have so much fun together. Ina, thank you. Helena, it was very helpful. Beautiful webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, you have lovely energy. Thank you, Cecily. I have worked very hard on the energy. That is so nice to hear. And to share this space with like-minded souls, that is so beautiful to be able to do. And it's so amazing that we can do it on this level. Where is the link, says Elizabeth. Here it is again, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, let me know that you got that link. And much gratitude. Thank you, Val. Thank you to you. And I do want to just make sure, Elizabeth, that you got the link. I didn't. Elizabeth, can you send me your email? You can type, what's your last name? I'll look for you in my system and reach out to you directly. I don't know why it's not showing up for you. It's to all panelists. Technical difficulties. I mean, Mercury, okay, great. I will be in touch with you directly. And again, everyone else, so much gratitude. Thank you so much. I feel like we could stay all day, but this is the energy that I bring to Courageous. So jump on it and sign up. And I look forward to welcoming you, whether it's in the course this round, in the future. I'll be doing workshops coming up, more summits. So I truly love hearing that you have enjoyed what I have produced thus far, because there's so much more on the horizon. Thank you again. And I just wish you all so many blessings today and in all the days as you move forward in living from the heart. Thank you so much. Until the next, bye everybody.